Hi there, today I want to talk to you about the suffixes in Esperanto that begin with the letter U. We'll start off with ul, because I thought it would be an ul way to get us started. Ul means a person or a being who is defined by a particular quality. All right? One thing that is very important to know for this suffix is that it is not related to verbs, all right? We don't use this in relationship with verbs. If we had a verb, like paroli, to speak, and we wanted to talk about a person in relation to that verb, you could say they are parolema, they are inclined to speak, they are talkative. You could say they are speaking right now, they are one who speaks. That would be parolanto. That's what we call a participle. There's parolanto, lato, lito, it. There's a lot of different forms of that. That's its own separate video in the future that I'll have to make. But suffice it to say that if you wanted to define someone by a verb, you'd use a different ending. This is specifically for adjectives. Look below. The adjective bella means beautiful. Bellulo is a beautiful person. Riccia is rich, so ricciulo is a rich person. Stello is a star, a literal star up in the sky, a ball of flaming gas. So stellulo would be a person with a star-like quality or nature. Okay, that's a celebrity. Very fun. So just remember that when it comes to ul, it's not what you do that defines you, but who you are, okay? This is not the suffix that Esperanto deserves. It's the suffix that Esperanto needs. And while we're talking about Batman Beyond, Batman Begins references, think about Ra's al Ghul, okay? He's Danjarulo. He's a dangerous person, okay? There you go. Batman for the win. Uyo is our next one. Uyo means a container, a receptacle for something, or, in some cases, a country of something. Mono is money, so monuyo would be a money purse or a wallet for that money to go into. Rubo is rubbish or trash, so rubuyo is a trash bin. You see what I did here with the U and the J, they both can contain things, all right? If you poured water on every letter of the alphabet, these are the two that would hold the most water, okay? G would have the big circle on the top of the G. That would sort of keep the water from getting into the tail there, all right? So these ones, they go right in there. They're the only suffixes that have two containers right next to each other, all right? And the difference between this and ingo, which is also sort of a holder for something, is that ingo usually just holds one of something at a time, and it only partially encloses something. It doesn't fully envelop or contain it, whereas you can put lots of money into a wallet, right? Not just one piece at a time. Now below, this is the little sort of odd thing that we also do with uyo. Fransuyo would mean a container for French people, right? So sometimes we'll say fransuyo, and that's just an established way of wording France, right? But more recently, the tendency has been to instead use francio for France. Similarly, germanuyo, you'll find many times, meaning Germany or the container for Germans. You'll also see germanio, and that means Germany. But below it, you see Scotlando. That is the standard word to use for Scotland. It means the land of Scots, or the country for Scots, okay? I found one case of scotuyo in the Textaro. It was in Fables of Hans Christian Andersen, where they mention Angluyo and Scotuyo, England and Scotland, but that was sort of a fluke. So by and large, if you're talking about Scotland, you need to say Scotlando. And the countries are kind of weird that way. Some of them are lando endings, some of them are uyo, io, and some have different endings than that even. So countries are something that you kind of need to memorize on their own so you don't get them confused. But the other stuff, the other containers, you just put uyo at the end and you're good to go. Finally, we have the wild card suffix means that it's somehow related to the root word, but I'm not telling you exactly how. You just need to figure it out. Du is two. Duuma is binary. Oh, okay, yeah, I can kind of see how that's related to the number 2, but I'd have to do some explaining to you to define it outright to you, right? Folio is a leaf, a physical leaf from a tree. Foliumi is to leaf through something. Now that's sort of a play on words in English, and it makes sense to us, but let's say you're coming from the Japanese or the Chinese language or something else. maybe they don't have that same image of, oh yeah, in the early days of printing, we would call the pages something, the leaves of this, or a leaflet or something. Okay, so that's another one that, yeah, kind of makes sense, but you did have to initially describe it to me for me to know what exactly could foliumi mean, jumping in a big pile of leaves after you've raked them all into a big pile? I mean, technically it could mean that, right? So you don't want to just guess. You need to look up what these are when you're learning them, okay? Because they could mean any number of things in relation to a leaf or in relation to whatever the root is, but they do have a set meaning. It's not like sometimes it's talking about this foliumi and then that foliumi. Foliumi always means the same thing. So that's why it's important to learn them, don't create them, okay? Because if you need to express something, chances are there's already an word for it, or maybe a word that doesn't need an ending, okay? Bracco is an arm. Bracumi is to hug, okay? It doesn't mean to strong arm. That could have been what we ended up using bracumi for, but it's not. If we say bracumi, we are talking about a hug. Colo means a neck. Columo is a collar, okay? Yeah, it's goes around the neck. Yeah, that makes sense, right? These are another one where, kind of like the countries, you need to just sit down with a list of them and learn them individually because they all have set meanings, and yes, they are all related to the root, but in different ways. And one other nice thing about and one reason that it's great that it's at the end alphabetically, is that after you've learned all the others, if you get to an ending, you know for a fact that what it is not, okay? If we had a word like regiumo, which isn't even a word to my knowledge. Regio is king, so regiumo, what's that? Well, I don't know, but I know what it isn't. It's not the offspring of a king, because that would be regido. It's not a really big king, that would be regego, right? We know what it isn't, which helps us narrow it down, but in this day and age, you have a phone, look up, a dictionary or a Vertaro, use that and figure out what it is and commit it to memory, because they can kind of throw you for a loop sometimes, but once you learn them, they always mean the same thing. So those are your U endings, and those are all of the standard suffixes in Esperanto. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.